Welcome back to Schmattz Outdoors, everyone. Just getting packed up, ready to go here for the morning. I got one more thing I got to grab. I'm going to grab a container of dry dirt I forgot to throw in yesterday. We're going to give you a little rundown of what I got going on in my truck right now. I don't know how to explain this, but so I set up them otter sets last night. The last trap I had to check is a coyote trap over there, and there was otter sign all over right there. So I dropped in 2 footholds that are staked together, so it's basically like one set, but there's 2 traps there, and then 4 220s in there. I laid awake last night like excited about the fact that I might catch an otter, because I never caught an otter in an otter set. And I think I figured out this morning, and again this morning I was up late last night thinking about this, and excited about checking traps this morning. And then I was up fairly early again this morning, just kind of the excitement of, boy, did I happen to get lucky and catch one, And I think I finally figured out what it is. I've never actually caught an otter in an otter set. I explained yesterday I caught one in a coyote set and one in a beaver set last year. This is the first time I've ever had like awesome sign like that there's actually otter in a spot and actually purposefully set up on the sign. I've had like last year I had an otter set in a little creek. Well, essentially that was just a blind set, hoping on the slim chance that an otter might come swimming through there. And it never did. I caught some raccoons and I caught a mink there, but I never did catch an otter there. So I think that's what it is. I think it's the fact that I actually found good otter sign in a spot that I actually can set up on. Are my sets dynamite sets? I don't really think so. I mean, there's probably better ways to catch them. I'm not an otter trapper. I don't really know. I even think like 220s might be a little small for catching otter, but it's what I had. I threw in the 280s that I have. But in Minnesota, they have to be half submerged to be legal. So I'm not even sure that I got a spot I could even put them, because the creek is so shallow down in there, except for like where the beaver house was. And I can't get out on the ice or do anything around where that beaver lodge or where the feed bed and all that is, because it's, 4 foot deep and I don't want to fall through the ice. So I don't even think I could set the 280s I got in my truck, but I threw them in just in case. I threw in some more T-bar stakes, a few other things. Like I said, I'm just kind of excited. Those are going to be the first traps I check, because I got 2 footholds down in there. If I happen to have one caught, he's going to be alive there, and I want to make sure if he's there, I want to make sure that I get him out of the trap, dispatch him out of that trap as soon as I can, so he doesn't damage the pelt. And also, like, I don't want it to even be a slim chance that he gets out of my trap, right? I got 2 Duke number 4s, 4 coiled traps there, so I think if he gets caught in one, if an otter gets caught in one, he's going to be sitting there waiting for me. But there are chances I catch raccoons in some of these sets. If a family of raccoons comes through, they could muck up my whole setup. There's a mink running around down in there. There was mink tracks on the ice and stuff, so he could muck up my sets. A lot of things could go wrong here that I might not catch an otter today. And my best chance is going to be last night, maybe tonight, because then I think it's going to freeze up hard here again. It's going to be highs around like 10 to 15 degrees. So any kind of movement they're doing down there, I might be tough to keep my sets working. But yeah, I'm just excited for that. So those are going to be the first traps I checked this morning. If I do happen to catch one, we're going to bring them home here and throw them in the house to dry off so they don't freeze in my truck, right? Because they're probably going to be wet, and I don't want them to freeze any of the metal in my truck because it's below freezing. And also, they don't need to ride around with me all day because they're literally a half mile from my house here. You can kind of see on my truck, we got like an inch of snow overnight. So any coyote tracks or anything like that I find today are going to be fresh, that are, it should be easy to tell fresh signs. So in here, I decided we're gonna set up the weasel line today. I got an extras box right here, and I got a couple chicken legs for that box. What I have down in here is a chunk of beaver meat, a chunk of carp, and I'm throwing a chicken leg in there. And I've used just chicken in the past, and that's what I've caught all my weasels on, is just either like a chicken leg or chicken thigh, or, you know, these are really big, so I probably would have only used one anyway, but we're kind of hitting all the bases here. And then I use Hawbreaker's weasel lure. That's what I've been using the last few years, and I've actually caught a few weasels, so I'm going to stick with it. I'm not going to lure them until I'm ready to set them, but I'm going to leave them baited like this. So they're basically, all I have to do is just grab them, set the trap, put a little, and what I do for my weasel lure is I just put it on a little stick and just put it on top of my bait in the back of the box. So again, I got a couple extra chicken legs for that last box there, and I think these are all ready to go, like I said, other than just setting the traps when I get to the locations. One of the first spots I'm gonna set one of these is, you know, like 2 miles from my house. It's the spot where I caught the Grand Slam one last year or whatever. That's only a couple miles from here, so I'll be putting one of these out almost right away on the line. So I think that's about all I got. Like I said, I'm excited to go check those otter sets. Realistically, I don't expect to have an otter caught, but there's a chance. That's all I'm saying, is there's a chance. So I'm excited about that. I'm gonna get these boxes closed up and slid in here a little bit better, you know, kind of stacked in here. Give one last look over, make sure I got everything I need for the day, which I think I do, but we're gonna give everything a once over here and we'll be on our way. All right, guys, so I'm here to the otter spot. I actually got something, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see them, but right in here, there's actually some wild turkeys in here, and I don't think I've ever seen wild turkeys right there, but we're gonna get out. You guys are gonna see my reaction live here to whether or not I got an otter caught or anything caught here. We're gonna just go over here, we're gonna peek over the bank, and then we're gonna go down. I got the footholds down here, which is kind of down over this way. I figure that's gonna be my number one spot to have a chance to catch one. I don't know if we're gonna go through a 220, but so yeah, then footholds might be my number one spot to have a chance. But I do got some 220s over here. We're just gonna peek over the bank. Probably ain't gonna be able to show you real good. Well, I'm just looking for sign here too. Can't see my traps down there. We're gonna have to get down. So what I have is, I actually have one trap like back right over here, kind of in this creek, and then I believe it's right down here. I have a 220 in there, but I'm gonna have to get up on that other bank. So right down here is where the beaver house is, or beaver lodge was at. Their feed bed there. There is some fresh slides on there, so the otter were definitely out last night. So I don't necessarily see any fresh ones going up towards these, so I couldn't put any sets. Like I said, the ice is real thin right by the lodge, and they were going all over on the ice, so there wasn't like any neck down point till I got way up to here. And then like I said, I got 2 sets up this way, and then I got, well, we can go this way here. Got a deer bed right there. It's good to see. So the beaver were actually up in here, and they actually cut down. Turkeys are finally flying here. But the beaver actually cut down a whole bunch of brush and stuff right up here on this hillside. You'd see all the trees. This is actually like buckthorn, and they cut it down and were eating it or whatever. All right, like I said, we're gonna do a quick check. I got one set right here, and I tried to like block them down here. So they definitely come through here because there's fresh sign up there. But what I had done is I put kind of this blocking in here and left my trap right here is a 220 thick, because they had gone like in that little hole and were playing around on this side. So I tried to like block them off, but I can't really tell that they went through there, but you could see it. I mean, like the faint tracks of, like right here, you could see the slide, and they were up over by this stump, and they run like along the edge here. So again, I had a set here, hopefully put enough brush in here to kind of fence them down to right here. But so one trap is still working. Just trying not to fall on my butt here. So with the snow, everything's slippery. So over here is where I actually believe I heard an otter. So again, there's like a little rock dam right over here around by these two trees that's holding this water back, but right down in here it sounded like so I had a 220 blocking this hole, and obviously my trap is gone, but it sounded like the otter was like right down in here and went under the water and then kind of maybe over that way. So we're gonna come back in just a second. I don't see my trap or an animal down in there, but we're going to go over here. Yep, my footholds are still working. So you could see like the water, and what I did, the water just pulsated right there. I come down here and I put, there's a Duke number 4 right there and a Duke number 4 right here, because I figured they're gonna kind of come under here. So there's one there and one there, but this wasn't open quite so far yesterday. The water just pulsated again. But like I said, it seemed like something had come out from underneath the bank over here and went under, but I couldn't see because there's the snow on here. It's almost like over here there's a beaver put a few sticks up there, and I think the bank is undercut over in this area. And I would imagine that's where he went. If he was sitting kind of up on the shore over here, he went down under the ice over to over there. But well, I'm kind of excited here. So what I had is these two sticks here through my trap and the spring eyes of my trap, holding it there, and then I had this bigger one kind of holding those sticks in place. Definitely weight on there. Oh my God, I got one. I caught an otter. Just making sure he's dead, which he is. There you go, guys. I got an otter. Oh my gosh. So like I said, it just looked like yesterday the tracks come up off this bank, up onto here, and it looks like they were going up and down this hole. So I literally just positioned this 220 kind of with the jaws and my triggers like this, thinking, well, he's gonna try and either come up, or if they come up the top and try and go back down. I'm pretty sure I caught him coming up, but I caught an otter. Oh my gosh. I got an otter in a purposely set otter set. Like I said, I don't know, I couldn't sleep last night thinking about this. I said we got 2 more traps over there. We're gonna go quick check. He's fairly hard, so he's got caught early last night. It was probably a good thing he was under there because it probably kept him from freezing up too hard. And like I said, I think the most sign was over there, but I heard the splash here, so I'm like, God, I think they're over here right now. And I want to put traps where they're actually at. So I said, down here, this ice is only like an inch thick, so I can't get down on the ice to do any sets in the water. And they probably would have froze up anyway, but I can't believe that hole. Out of all the dumb places, this is like the least likely set. And this is a 30-inch stake. That's as far as I could pound it in. The ground is froze here. That's as far as I could pound it in. Well, God, I got one. In a purposely set otter set. I don't know if you guys have watched my channel the last couple years. An otter is kind of that unicorn animal for me. You just, I mean, I videoed some the other day for you guys that were out on the ice where I caught one of the beavers this fall. But again, I couldn't see where they were going in and out of either beaver house because the ice had blowed in there. But to actually find the amount of sign that was in here, because like I said, there was slides all over on the ice down in here. So I'm trying to do, I'm going to get down by those other 2 sets down there. Hopefully not fall on my butt here. Because it's a little bit sketchy. I don't see the mink tracks in here either, but I don't know when we got this last little inch of snow, but I hope you guys can see. Like right here's an otter slide, right here's a slide, right there's a great big long slide. But I can't really tell how much of it is fresh from last night, if any of it. So the other day, where I just started out right up here on top of the hill, that's where I sat deer hunting. And I peeked over the hill, and right down in here, you could see where like there's the dark colored ice. Yeah, right here, this spot. It was actually open water, and like out through this brush looked like, you know, the snow was all wet. Like something had come in and out of there. I'm like, man, did I leave a beaver in here? Because I caught an adult pair, or a pair of 2-year-olds. I'm like, God, did I leave one in here? Well, the next set is still working here, but I'm going to give you a good look of how I set it up. Because again, you could kind of see, I hope you could see, right here, slide, there's a slide, goes right here. So what I did is I put a 220 on an H stand right here. Give you a little better look. This one took me the longest to actually get set up in here. Because again, like this water right here is open in here, but it's only, I could try and foothold them right there because it's only like 2 inches deep. But yeah, so I basically got a 220 there, thinking if they come down, I got it necked off. I mean, they could always go around because they're otter, they can do anything they want, but I got a 220 there with nothing. And I'm going to leave these sets. I'm going to remake the one I got the otter caught in. The last one is over here. So like I said, I kind of knew that my trapping in here was going to be limited for the amount of time I could trap. So I tried to carpet bomb them. So then the otter had actually come up and was playing around in here and actually come through, and he went up here to this little, there's just a little splash of water in here. Right here you can see a slide. Right here. But right up here you can see all these trees that are knocked over. That's all beaver cuttings in here. So this one, there's one there, there's one there. There's a whole bunch on this hillside up here. So that's why the beaver had to go. But so what I did anyway, so the otter had come out right here in one spot, but I couldn't really get it set down in here. So I have a 220 half submerged right there with my trigger set up like a T. And again, 220s I could set on dry land, so I didn't have to be in the water like that. But I thought, well, if he's swimming along, that should be a good set right there. There's a little scum of like slush in there right now, so it's supposed to get close to freezing today, like up to freezing temperatures, like around 30 degrees. So I'm not worried about that one freezing in until tomorrow. But the rest of my sets, other than them footholds, so 3 of the 220s will still be working whether it freezes up or not. So if it does freeze, I'll just pick this one up because I got this other one that's right down over here. I hope you guys can see it. It's right there. Got an otter. Can't believe it. And he's dry. That's actually, you know, I was worried that they were going to get, like, if I caught one in here, that he was going to freeze in the snow and stuff in there, or in the water. Got an otter. Oh my gosh. Off of our land, I actually got an otter in a purposely set otter set. So we're going to, God, I can't believe it. On the one set too, that I basically told myself, like, oh, this is such a Hail Mary set, but I knew they were right there because, like I said, I feel like where that hole goes down, it goes down and like under the bank right down to the water there. And I think that's why they were coming up and playing around in there. It's not the biggest otter in the world. I don't really care. An otter's an otter for me. Yes. So I think I'm basically a weasel away from my Grand Slam again. I'm going to have to look at my list. And obviously I got weasel boxes in my truck. So yeah, these are just the first traps of the day. So I got 1 coyote set that had nothing in it, 6 otter set, and I ended up with an otter. If I don't catch another animal all day, I'm good with that. An otter. I don't know. I know some guys are probably like, ah, we catch otters all the time. There's not otters around to catch them every year. I mean, you could spend literally the entire winter trying to find otter sign like I found here. Like I said, I mean, basically from where the last otter sign is up here to way down this creek all the way around to where I caught the otters, like 200 yards of this little creek, and it's not flowing even. This is just standing water that there may be some springs coming out of the hills that are feeding this a little bit, but it's not flowing in here. But to actually have otter in here, I think the only reason why they're there is because this beaver house is here, and probably it's better now that I got the beavers out of there because they could live in that beaver house if they, you know, now that the beaver are gone. But again, to actually find otter sign and actually be able to set up on it. Again, I don't know a lot about trapping otter. I know very little, honestly, about trapping otter. But to actually make a catch in here is just, you know, makes the whole season, quite honestly. Like, I don't care about catching coyotes or anything else now. I could run, you know, the next week and a half of empty sets and I'd still call it a successful season because I purposely set otter sets and I actually caught one. All right, I'm done babbling on here. We're going to go over, we're going to take a picture or two of that guy. We're going to get him out of that set. I'll get it remade. Actually, I'm going to show you when I'm done remaking it, what it looked like to begin with. I'm going to try and get it set back up over there. And I'll kind of show you how I caught him in there. To me, like I said, it was like the Hail Mary-ish shot of trying to catch him out of all these. Because all these that are like set up for, you know, them running up and down the channel here, I figured were going to be the sets that make catches. So yeah, and I don't know, like I said, I doubt there was just one otter in here. I'm assuming there's maybe a pair of them in here just from the sign I seen. So there may be another one in here. I'm going to try and catch them, honestly. I mean, why not? I already got all the sets set up here. I'm not going to pull them all after one day just because I caught the one. So we're going to leave them in here at least one more day, if not a couple days here, as long as the weather kind of holds up for me here. And all right, we'll get him out of there. Like I said, I'll try and film the set when I get it remade, and we'll be on our way. All right, guys, so I just got this set remade. Back up and working here, so you can kind of see what I did. I have this stick and this stick. This one's through the springs, this little stick here. And I have that one kind of between my jaws. And you can see I pretty well got that hole blocked, and I got my trigger set up a nice V there. That's the best I can get it set in there. And like I said, this is such a Hail Mary set that I had zero expectations to actually make a catch right there. Like I said, I thought these footholds are going to be my number one. If they were in here, you know, if I spooked them at all from me messing around, you know, and pounding a stake and all that, you know, they'd maybe after I left be caught over here in these in these 2 footholds. So, but there he is. Again, I would say he's a medium-sized one. Like, well, he pooped all over himself, but I don't know. Looks like a female, but I didn't mention too about the beaver and everything. All these trees, all this stuff is going to be all wiped out come springtime. They're going to come through here, the county is, and they're going to like taper the banks way back on both sides of this creek and kind of rock the bottom of this creek to kind of stabilize this. So all this woods and everything is all going to be completely gone. You know, everything you see behind me is going to all be completely gone come springtime. So these otter aren't going to be able to live in here and come, I mean, basically as soon as it starts to get nice out. So like I said, I don't really feel bad about trying to catch them all out of here. And got an otter. Got him. I don't know. Dang it, I got an otter. I hope that 220 didn't do damage to his fur there. I mean, I think he's just froze the way the trap had him caught there, but I'm sure he fought it a little bit, but it was a nice perfect head catch on him, which was kind of my concern with setting 220s. Like if you get like a mid-body catch on them or something, you know, because they're slick, sneaky animals, they can get through your trap a ways. I was worried about it damaging them, but I think we're okay here. I'll take it. All right. I got a lot of line to check still. It's early today. I mean, I got going way earlier than normal because I mean, I was excited to get down here. So like I said, we're going to take this guy home. We're just going to throw him in my basement on my skinning table. And, you know, he's somewhat froze right now. By the time I get home, he'll be unthawed. And got an otter. All right, let's get out on the rest of the line. All right, guys, we're well, better than half, probably 2/3 of the way through the line right now. And finally made a catch, or another catch here. You guys could probably see behind me, I'm by the feedlot here. I just walked over the hill because there's kind of a slough back behind these pine trees and stuff over the hill there. And I thought maybe I got be able to see some trails, but the wind's been blowing like 15 miles an hour maybe, and snowing the entire time I've been out on my line since I basically caught that otter. So any tracks, I mean, they're all snowed in, drifted in. You can't tell a coyote track from a deer track from nothing. I mean, and you can faintly tell here and there's tracks, but like I said, there's no way you'd ever figure out. So I have a set kind of right by my truck, and I had a flat set here, and we caught ourselves a coyote. So this is the second coyote I've caught in this set here. And I mean, my set was pretty tore up anyway, because I think I've caught at least 2 skunks and now 2 coyotes in this same set. So, but it doesn't look like my trap's mudded up too bad. I grabbed a new trap just in case, and then we're just going to use a few of these corn stalks as like a backer. And like I said, it was just a flat set. So hopefully I can scrape up enough of this dirt to get me some dirt to sift. And he's all muddy, I think, from laying and rolling around in here. You could kind of see where he was laying right next to where he is there. So like right here, how it's all melted off, I'm pretty sure that's where he was laying when I first pulled up. Because I could see the catch circle, but like this grass here was blocking. I couldn't see him laying there until I got, you know, over this way farther. So, but yeah, got myself a nice coyote today. Again, it may only be 1 catch a day, but boy, I ain't skunked. That's all that matters. And I got that otter already today, so I'm kind of floating on, you know, on cloud 9 right now. So we'll get this guy out of here. I'm getting chilled. I should have put my jacket on, but we'll get this guy out of here quick, get this set remade, and get moved on. All right, guys, we're getting down to the last few sets of the day. I actually believe I only got 1 more coyote set left to check, and then a few raccoon sets, and I'll be home. But I do have another catch here. The wind is picking up, and like I said, it's still snowing out there, so it's not ideal to be doing this. But again, we'll get out, we'll get this guy, excuse me, we'll get out, we'll get this guy out of my trap and move on. Like I said, one coyote set, and I think I got like 5 or 6 raccoon sets on my way home, and one more snare, I guess, too. So, but we'll quick get out. Like I said, I apologize for the wind. Shouldn't be too bad, but it's plenty breezy out here. So what we got here, there's just this little clod of trees, and there's another one over there. Then there's a big pasture up here and a big farm that's got a lot of cattle. And then across the road over here, there's a great big kind of a slough right out. You can kind of see it beyond my truck. And then that block of woods up there, that tree line up here. So everything kind of funnels right down this little fence line. Today we got ourselves a coyote. I thought I had a badger when I come down the road from this way. I could see this from, I mean, you don't have to have binoculars to see that catch circle. But yeah, I got myself a nice coyote here. This is the 6th one off this farm. That where I caught the double on the bridge is like a mile probably that direction, just on the other side of this big farm place. So farmer will be happy I'm getting them out of here. And yeah, so that's coyote number 25 for me for the year. I don't even know how many checks were in here. You guys will be able to tell me, but coyote 25. And it is cold out here. I'm gonna grab my jacket and we'll get this guy out of here and set remade. He actually, if anything, improved this set. I wasn't the best set. I wasn't super happy with it the way it was set up, but I'll be able to make a better set now that with the remake than I actually had here to begin with. So yeah, nice coyote. This is a little darker colored one. He isn't really muddy. That other one was plenty muddy, but I kind of think this guy's been laying up in the grass out of the mud. But we'll get him out of there and should be able to remake it using that same trap. And there should be plenty of loose dirt here, I think, that I can get sifted dirt. So, you know, you have a couple skunk days in there, and then you have a day like today where you catch a couple canines and an otter. You know, you just, from one check to the next, you just never know what you're gonna have out there. That's the fun of it, I guess. And a day like today when it's absolutely miserable out here, you know, it's nice to be able to make some catches, you know, kind of pay for gas, you know, keep the excitement of the whole thing up. So like I said, we'll get him out of there and we'll be on our way. Well guys, we made her home. It is just not very nice out here today. They were talking it was supposed to get to like 30 degrees, but I don't think we're anywhere as close to that. And wind is blowing like 15. Right in the yard here is fairly calm, but and it's been snowing ever since I left. So several, you know, I don't know, 4 hours, whatever it is. And we've gotten like a good inch of snow since I left. So trying to see any kind of fresh tracks today like I was hoping was almost impossible. And it's drifting on the roads and that type of stuff. So boy, it's going to be a bugger the next few days keeping sets working and probably getting them back working. But we're going to give you a quick rundown of the catch here today. So trophy of the season right here. I don't know. And then we'll get back to him. So this is the first coyote I caught. He's mudded up like crazy, like the whole side of him. He's got burrs and stuff all over in his back and here and here. Looks like an okay furred coyote if the guy gets the mud and the burrs off of him. And then this is the one I just caught, which I didn't think he actually looked that great in the trap, but I think again he's just got big wads of burrs and stuff in him, like here and here. So we'll have to get both of these guys hung down in the basement to get them unthawed a little bit. This one here is still pretty pliable. This one here, the nose is starting to freeze up. You know, he was only in my truck maybe an hour longer than this one, but maybe even a little less. But his nose is starting to freeze a little, where this one here is still nice and soft. So we'll start with this one. We'll get the burrs picked out of him. Probably get him opened up, probably bring him out and skin him. So what I'll do, I move my skinning table and everything down into my basement. So what I'm going to do is I'll take all these back down in the basement. We'll get them basically prepped, so fur cleaned. You know, the dirt I can't do nothing with, but like the burrs and stuff, I like to try and get the burrs out before I wash them if I can. Both of these will probably get washed. I'm thinking as long as I'm doing one, I might as well do them both. And then I'll hang them in the basement. You know, I'll skin them, wash them, and then shake them the best I can. Hang them in the basement probably the rest of the day, and then I'll probably flush them tomorrow. But what I plan on doing is probably doing this one here first, because he's a little bit softer and a little more pliable. The warmer they are, the better they skin too. And then we'll get him completely skinned and done, and then we'll actually start working on this one here. And again, then we got the trophy of the day. The big old otter. He's actually probably bigger than I actually thought he was. I mean, just comparing him to the size of these two coyotes. Doesn't seem like he's got as long a tail as some of them, but I don't know. I'm not an otter expert. This is only the third one I've ever caught, so just kind of in shock. I don't know. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to skin him with the feet on. And I plan on having him tanned. The first one I caught, I have full body mounted that a taxidermist is working on. The one I caught last year, I have tanned. It's hanging in my house here. And then I plan on getting this one tanned, and I'm probably going to give it to my father. He won't watch this video, so he won't know anyway, but when I get it back from the tannery, I'm going to give it to my father, because he's got a collection of my furs that I've caught tanned. He's got a coyote and a fox and a raccoon and badger. And so, like I said, I think I'm going to give this one to him. Or I may give him the one I caught last year and keep this one. But either way, that's probably the plan. I'll get him tanned, and I'm not going to tan him myself. I did that once already. We're going to actually ship him and have somebody else tan him, so yeah, like I said, I think if I catch a weasel now, I think that should be the animal that I needed in order to try and catch the whole Grand Slam again of my area. All the animals that are legal to trap here. So kind of a whim, and I know some of you guys probably catch plenty of otters. In Minnesota, we only could catch 4 a year. Again, I've caught 3 in 10 years now of trapping. So they're kind of that 1 in a million animal for me. And then I think again, I explained this a little earlier, what had me so excited about this spot is, it was one of those, I noticed the sign, actual otter sign in there, set specific sets to try and catch the otter that were there. And I actually caught one on the first night I had my traps there. I was a little worried they weren't going to want to stick their head in a 220. But apparently it didn't matter to this guy, because he come from underneath it and pushed his head up through it. So it's not like he was on the top and tried to dive through the hole, which is how I sort of expected to catch him there. So I don't know if I would assume there's probably a pair of them in there, and I got the one. So we're going to leave my sets probably for a couple days down there, just kind of see if there's any fresh sign. I don't know what the snow is supposed to do. Like I said, I don't know if you can see it flying by the camera, but it's snowing still. If the snow would stop, at least any fresh sign or any sign that's there would all be fresh, and I'd have an idea, what's still in there, if he's still in there, or if there is one still in there. Because I'm pretty sure I got a female here, so I'd almost assume there'd be a pair, a male and a female. So again, I'm not an otter expert. I'm not an otter trapping expert. Glad I made some catches for you guys. I know the last couple videos have been a little on the slow side, but with the weather the way it is, I may not make another catch this season, to be quite honest with you. If we get too much snow here in the next couple days, it's supposed to be windy 2 days from now, really windy, 25 miles an hour winds. Well, with the snow, this light fluffy snow we got, boy, I think it's going to drift in all my sets, I'm sure, or most of them. So it's going to be probably a good day or more just to get them all working again. And I just did that a couple days ago, so it's gonna be a struggle, I think, now to the end of the season. We're gonna kind of watch the 10-day, and if a blizzard's coming in or something, we're gonna probably pull the line early. I mean, I've had a pretty successful season. I think I made the comment that second coyote is my 25th coyote for the season. So anything over 20, I'm ecstatic about. Because I didn't even make that last year. I only had 18 last year, so. If I end up having to pull the line a little early, even a week early or a few days early, I'm okay with that right now, to be honest with you. If I was catching 5 coyotes a day, then, I'd be upset I had to pull the line. But, I mean, you guys can see my catch goes down towards the end of the season. There's just that many less critters running around out there. The weather changes their patterns, all that stuff too. So, I don't know. Like I said, if we run a few days here without making any catches, like I said, I'll have to consider pulling the line. Gas is expensive this year, and I don't need to be checking empty traps day after day. So, but like I said, we'll make the call down the road. For now, we're excited with the catch I had for you today. I think that's everything I have for you. We'll see you guys out on the line tomorrow.